Vinny Tortorich here. Hey man, if you're a fan of Izzy, you might be a fan of me too. I'm the guy that gets people to lose a lot of weight. I have something free for you guys. This is no clickbait. Just go to VinnyTortorich.com and there's a big banner. It's a free PDF, how to lose weight. It's an intro guide to NSNG at VinnyTortorich.com. Go check it out exclusively for anyone who listens to Izzy Presley. Thank you.
Replay Guitar Exchange is your premier independent guitar store. Being independent is good. With all of the major brands, including new, vintage, and pre-owned, you can find the guitar, bass, amp, or accessory you are dreaming of. From vintage to the newest models, Replay Guitar Exchange can help you find that perfect piece. They have industry veteran expert staff, all players like you down to the owner. You aren't just getting a great guitar, you're getting the Replay difference. Find them online at replayguitar.com and find your dream guitar today.
Hey ladies, Sass Pants Designs will take that rock shirt that everyone has and make it your own in a flattering, sassy, and simple way. There are one-of-a-kind tank tops, lace-up tees, and tube top dresses already in stock. Check out the online store at sasspantsdesigns.com and like Sass Pants Designs on Facebook for special offers and custom orders. That's sasspantsdesigns.com, sasspantsdesigns.com. Sass Pants will make you the envy of the party.
RockstarLeatherworks.com is your home for badass rock and roll gear. Featuring 100% handmade leather bands, watches, cuffs, bracelets, and more, Rockstar Leatherworks has something for everybody. Whether you are going to the show or you are in it, you can find something to fit your needs. Choose from a variety of designs or create your own masterpiece. Their bands and watches are second to none. They also ship internationally. Who needs a stage to be a rock star? Check out RockstarLeatherworks.com.
Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
See, son, old legends never die. They just lose weight.
He's like a legend and an out-of-work bum with a lot of life.
Yes, it is party time. Hello, Hollywood. Hello, world. And hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and it's always good to be seeing Izzy Presley here on the second Another Effin' Podcast for the week. Great show with Chris Wise from the Hollywood Vampires and Owl last night. And tonight we have another special guest, bringing on Kip Winger in just a second. Do make sure you hit up all the social media at Real Izzy Presley all the way across the board. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And, of course, the Facebook page is Another Effin' Podcast. T-shirts are available. If you don't want those T-shirts, send me money. IzzyPresley at yahoo.com is your PayPal. And I made the thing last night. The first person that sends me another $50 via PayPal, IzzyPresley at yahoo.com, gets a free autographed Christina Aguilera photo, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, take a look at that. Anyways, without further ado, I've been bugging this guy for, probably 4 years. And he's a Grammy-nominated artist. He's American Music Award-nominated artist. He's pretty much the face. Anybody can say he's the face of 80s hard rock. And he was in Playgirl, ladies and gentlemen, Kip Winger.
Here I am.
Here you are. How are you doing, man? You're in Nashville?
I am, yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know why. For some reason, I thought you were a Northern California guy.
Northern California is beautiful, and I wish I was from there, but I'm actually from Colorado, and I've never lived in California.
I think what it was is when they did that Where Are They Now thing in the 90s, there was you doing your ballet like on this cliff on like your deck, and it looked like you were over the ocean. For some reason, I thought it was Northern California. I have no idea.
That was in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Oh, shit. There you go. I usually don't do a lot of research when I do these, but I wanted to look into you because I know that you are you don't get a lot of credit for some of the shit that you've done that a lot of people don't know about. You were playing in bands when you were a kid, and you sent demos to the Alan Parsons Project.
I did. Well, I sent it to Alan. I was 16. I sent my demo to him, and as I sent it to everybody, and Alan actually wrote me back, man. It was really cool. So it's a testament to what a great guy he is, and he's very generous. So so when I got the gig with him, I brought the letter, and that was kind of a cool moment to have sent him my demo at 16 and then been playing in his band.
What did he say about the demos?
Oh, he was like, well, I'm not really producing at this outside bands at this time, and it sounds good, maybe a little work on the lyrics. And he was way too kind, dude.
Oh, that's cool.
Kind.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So at what point do you end up in Alice Cooper, and how do you get that gig?
So I was living in New York. I was waiting table. I started in a band with my two brothers. We broke up when I was in my early 20s, and I moved to New York and waiting tables. And my friend Bo Hill was having a lot of success at the time with having done Rat and producing other bands, and he got a gig producing Alice Cooper, and they needed 4 songs on the Constrictor album, and he told me to get up there immediately because they needed me to cut some songs. And man, I just told Alice if he goes out on the road to please take me with him, and they did. So I got right place at the right time. Very lucky.
Well, sometimes all you have to do is ask.
Kind of how it went, man. It was at the suggestion of Kane Roberts. And Kane was, hey, put it in, put a bug in Alice's ear, and they called me up.
How was it being on the road with Alice? I've heard he's very easy to work with.
Very easy going, super professional though. I mean, you got to show up to the gig,
right.
know. I mean, you got to do the thing, and I learned a lot from him, man. He was really an incredible performer and great with the press, and it was really like going to rock and roll school, kind of.
Right.
I was just kind of taking notes the whole time.
I got a message from Johnny Dwarf. He said, "Tell that gorgeous bastard I say hello." So the Killer Dwarf's checking in to say hello to Kip Winger. I love it. At what point? So when you left Alice, was that at a time when Alice was like redoing his band, or is that something that you just decided it was time to leave?
No, I left. You know what? I did a full tour, which was supposed to. Well, I did the Constrictor album. I did the Fort Soon, and then I joined the band, went on the road, which was supposed to be 3 months, and ended up being almost a year. And then we went back in the studio to do Raise Your Fist and Yell, and they were getting ready to go out on a whole nother tour, and I just felt like at that time, because I'd been kind of shopping my own deal for so long, I kind of wanted to jump.
Yeah.
And it was a scary decision because it could have easily turned out the opposite way, and but I got lucky, and Alice was very generous about it. He was like, "Go for it," very supportive, endorsed the name of the band and all that kind of stuff. So I would just say that I was a hard-working guy, but I got lucky, man.
Right. Well, I mean, that's kind of the story, right? Like we said, right place, right time. Did you have a deal before you left the band, or was that in the works, or did you just kind of say, "All right, I'm done. I'm just gonna go for it"?
Oh God, no! I had no deal. I've been turned down by every record company at least 5 times.
Okay.
Demos. I've been making demos for a deal, trying to get a deal since I was 16 at the time, and I was 24 or something. So I knew Reb. I met Reb when I was working at Atlantic Studios. Bo Hill, like I said, he would hire us on certain projects and stuff, and he was doing Fiona's album, and Reb came in to do some stuff on that. And I met Reb around that time when they were doing Bob Dylan and Fiona did a movie called Hearts of Fire that I did a lot of work on.
Okay.
Did some arranging and bass playing and singing and stuff like that. And I met Reb. So when I joined Alice, I met Paul, and Paul and I hit it off, and I just kind of had it in my mind that those guys would work well together in a band. And so when I left, I told Reb, Reb was getting a lot of offers too, and we made a pact, actually. We made a 6-month pact to write an album and not take any outside work and just see how far we got, basically, is how that went.
So you didn't... go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, and so we did most of the demos for the first album in that time, and Atlantic signed us off the song "State of Emergency," actually, which never became a single or anything.
Wow.
We just, yeah.
Did you guys have to pound the pavement and hit the strip and do all those little club gigs, or did you just kind of just shop it until it got taken?
You know what? We never did a gig. Our first gig was opening for the Scorpions.
Wow.
In Minneapolis in front of 10,000 people.
Wow.
And my feeling was I didn't need to do any club gigs because I grew up doing club gigs. I've done more club gigs than anybody I knew, you know. So I wasn't going to learn anything by going out to play clubs. I mean, Paul was in Alice. Reb had been doing a lot of stuff, and we knew what it was like to do a gig, you know. So the most important thing was to write songs and you know, hope to get a record deal, which we did. And then, you know, look, it was a real struggle back then because you had to get tour support, and they didn't want to give us money for a video, and we had to audition to make a video. You know, there was all that kind of stuff going on. You know.
Right. Well, you ended up going out. Go ahead.
No, and I mean, just saying, like back then, there was no YouTube where you can basically take charge of your own career
right.
and promote yourself, because the channels back then of promoting a record were completely owned by the major record companies. I mean, you couldn't get your record in a record store without them, you know, or on the radio.
Right. Scotty from Canada, loyal listener, checking in. Huge Kip Winger fan and Winger fan. How did you meet Beau Hill? He wants to know.
My manager at the time, I was in a band with my brothers in Denver, and my manager at the time, named Cliff Powers, he's a DJ in Denver, actually. He goes by a different name. His name is Cliff Powers, and he was our manager, and he met Beau backstage at a Heart concert in Denver.
Okay.
And kind of solicited us to Beau for producing. And I think, you know, I'm pretty sure I was the first band. We were the first band that Beau ever produced.
All right. Were you a huge Kiss fan growing up? Because you did some dates on that Hot in the Shade tour, correct?
Yeah, we did 6 months with them.
Yeah, we didn't get you in Minneapolis.
Man, I was a huge Kiss. I still am. I mean, when I was a kid, I saw them in Oakland when I was 15, man, and it blew me away. I slept till like 5 in the afternoon the next day. I mean, it blew me away. Loved them, and I've been very lucky. You know, when I saw them when I was 15, and you know, of the band, and then I got to tour with them, you know, so that I have so many stories like that where I've, you know, kind of been in the right place at the right time, and, you know, feel pretty blessed to have all the experiences that I've been able to have.
What Kiss tour was that you saw them on when you were 15?
No, that was, it was, I want to say it was before Detroit Rock City, so...
Oh, wow. So it would have been, what, 75? 76.
Yeah,
okay.
76. Yeah.
So it was probably the Alive tour.
Probably that. And
wow.
By the way, I mean, I saw it like 4 or 5 times after that.
Of course you did, because once you're hooked, you're hooked. Yeah, what was it like opening for Kiss? I mean, how was that experience for you?
It was awesome. I mean, you know, they didn't have makeup on, you know, so
right.
You didn't get that bang for buck, but it was equally as amazing. I used to sit on the side of the stage and just watch Paul Stanley wail every night. His voice might have been better on that tour than he ever sang. I mean, I haven't seen him lately, but he was just killing it every single night, man. And you know, he was always one of my very favorite frontmen, him and David Lee Roth. And that's how I kind of got into ballet, because I used to think about guys like that and Freddie Mercury and that whole thing, and I thought, well, how I could take this to the next level, you know. So, you know, the whole theatrical thing blended with good musicianship. And so, Paul Stanley was just incredible. And Kulick was on the guitar back then, and Kulick's an incredible guitar player.
Oh, he's amazing. He's amazing. He's been on the show, and I was giving him shit about not playing the ace solos correctly, doing his own twist on it. But, I mean, it's still ruled.
He's a great musician. Eric Carr was drumming.
Yep.
And, Gene would come into our dressing room every night and tell us a joke or something like that. And it was a fun tour, man. 6 months.
Yeah, and so it was what? You and Kiss and Pussycat, correct?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because in Minneapolis, we had Slaughter and Pussycat. So.
Yeah, I dig those guys, man.
Yeah, I do too. I want to talk about this classical thing for a second here. You were, 16 years old when you got the bug to learn classical music?
Yeah, I started studying classical guitar when I was 16, and I, practicing 4 or 5 hours a day, maybe 6 hours a day sometimes, and just trying to really learn how to do that whole Baroque, but really some more modern guitar pieces and stuff, and get my fingers really working. But early on, I realized I didn't really want to be like a virtuoso instrumentalist,
Mm-hmm.
So I really kind of leaned toward the composition thing, but I never. And I studied ballet at the time as well. I was kind of in this whole thing where I wanted to learn a bunch of stuff, artistically, and it all kind of blended together because in ballet you hear Stravinsky and Rachmaninoff and Tchaikovsky and Debussy and Ravel and all this kind of stuff, and I was very drawn to the music and started kind of studying music theory and stuff like that, and imagining one day that I would like to write orchestral music, never imagining I'd ever get anybody to play it. But
right.
Wanted to know, I'm a bit of a theory geek. I'm fascinated with music theory and how it all works and how people create certain images with the orchestra and stuff like that, because it's not a replacement for rock music, by the way, for me. It's just a way for me to express a certain thing better. And I hear the music. So the reason I really pursued it was because that's what I hear in my head. I don't recommend it 'cause it's kind of torture to keep, coming up with that and studying it and composing it and all that stuff. It's not easy, so you should only do it if you can't not do
it. Right. How much of that classical training did you, or do you still transfer over to your technique in bass guitar?
Well, you know what? The classical guitar influenced my bass playing largely, but not for very long. I mean, I just learned a few tricks, and I did just a few things. But I'm no Billy Sheehan.
Right. But you could be if you wanted to. You just don't show it off.
You know what? I mean, no one can do Billy Sheehan like Billy Sheehan. I mean, I could study that and learn how to do that, and but I would be like a bad person of one of those guys, because it's not in my heart,
Right.
I think those things are created because they come out of the desire and the artistic ability to hear that and create that out of it's kind of you have to feel it, man.
Right.
I'm really way more into the writing aspect of it.
I got a question about writing from Carol checking in. She wants to know, what's the ease of writing songs with Reb come right off the bat? Or basically she's asking, does writing with Reb, is it easy? Does it come right? Does it just happen?
It does just happen. Reb and I interface where his deficiencies are my attributes and vice versa. So we interface really well as a writing team, and we've had our ups and downs,
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was great, and then second album was a little more difficult, and then Full, we really came together, and then, as time's gone on, now we're really we've really got it down. You know, we really know exactly what to do when we go in the studio to do. Oh, we're getting ready to go in and write. We'll see. We haven't done a record for 5 years, but
right.
You know, we're very good friends. You know, so it's a fun hang. It's not like it's not a difficult process. And Reb is very funny. He's one of the funniest people on the planet, actually. So, you know, hanging with him is really quite fun. You know.
When you were putting the band together, was there any thought about you just being the singer and not playing bass?
No. I would never. I'm part of the rhythm section, man. I grew up playing bass and singing. I mean, I could never be that. I'm in the Paul McCartney, Sting, Geddy Lee, you know, kind of that whole Peter Cetera arena. You know, that's my thing. I feel very uncomfortable when I'm on stage without a guitar or bass.
So was it weird for you then when you did that with Def Leppard on the cruise?
Well, I was bummed because I didn't really like know the words. They're like, "Hey man, you know our songs." I'm like, "Of course I know your songs." and they're like, "Great, you know the words." I'm like, "Of course I don't fucking know the words." So, and they're like, "Okay, well we don't have them either." They didn't have them on file or anything, so they're like handwriting the words out, and putting down at our feet. You know, like it was very stressful. But it was, you know, I always say like the pressure's off for life after I sang with Def Leppard. But you know, that was great. Again, another great honor to be asked to do that. And you know, I would have liked to have had some of that a little bit more under my belt.
Well, it was such a last-minute thing. If you guys don't know the story, Joe Elliott lost his voice, so Def Leppard actually never performed as Def Leppard on the Def Leppard cruise. So he introduced them and had a bunch of the singers that were on the boat, like Kip and Eric Martin and Andrew Freeman, I think.
Well, Andrew knew the stuff cold. I mean, I was kind of like, why don't you just have Andrew do it? Because he knew every single song. I think he was in a Def Leppard cover band or something at one point. And Eric kept going, "No, man, we got to do this. You know, and I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it, man." But, you know, Andrew's got it down, man. You know, but I was happy that I hit the high note, and you know, that's all I cared about. You know, was to make sure I hit all the high shit.
Right. What song did you do? I don't even remember.
Photograph.
Oh, yeah, one of the highest ones. They give you the hard one.
Yeah.
Do you like the cruises? Do you have fun on those?
I think the cruises are really fun, and it's fun to connect with the fans, and it's very, you know, it's like anybody gets from one place to the other, and you don't ever know who you're going to run into, and it's also fun to hang with all the other guys in the bands that I grew up with, and you know, everybody's super cool and no weird vibes, and I really like it. I'm a bit of a sun worshiper to begin with. I love that weather, and I dig it. I really do. I like it a lot. I was hesitant at first on the first cruise. I thought, what am I doing? This is like I didn't, you know, I was a little bit like, oh my God, we're gonna, you know, the ship's gonna sink. You know? But it was a blast. I really loved it, and I really loved every one of them.
Yeah, it was a blast, and you were nice enough to judge our Gong Show karaoke contest on that Def Leppard cruise. And Bruce actually says you were the highlight of that disaster cruise. That's kind of funny. Actually, nice. I had a lot of fun on the Def Leppard cruise. Everything that went wrong, it didn't matter. It was still a fucking blast. Cheryl wants to know if you will ever tour with Alan Parsons again.
I don't know, man. I left because of scheduling problems, you know, a long time ago, 10 years ago at least now. And every once in a while, they call me up to do because PJ Olsen, the singer now, couldn't do a gig or something. So I've subbed for them, and it's a blast, and I dig it. And so if they want to call me up, I'm there. But so you know, they haven't called me in a while. But like I say, I mean, I sub with them, and it's a lot of fun, man. It's hit after hit after hit after hit, and Alan, it's a great hang too. They're really cool people.
Well, hopefully they'll get you on one of these Moody Blues cruises one of these years.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Here, Kip, I tell you what, I have a lot of questions about Get Jacked, so a lot of questions coming in from the crowd, too. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a short minute-and-a-half break. We'll be right back with Kip. First half of the show brought to you by Beater Amplification. That's 2 E's, balls out, rock and roll tone, 100 watts of testicular fortitude, pull 2 tubes, and have yourself a 53 channels of amazing hand-wired, hand-built goodness. Check him out, beateramplification.com. And the Izzy Presley TCB1 will be coming out soon. Very happy about that. Kip Winger on the blower. Going to be talking about his brand new record, which is a musical, a rock and roll type musical called Get Jack, thriller musical. And we'll be back in just 2 minutes and 2 seconds. It is another fucking podcast.
If you need to promote your band or business, or just want to stylize, personalize, or customize your ride, check out vid-decals.com. Want to create and customize your own stickers representing your band, or make your own bumper sticker? Vid Decals can do it. All stickers are printed on quality vinyl and can be placed on any flat surface. Stickers are an affordable way to promote your band or business. Go to vid-decals.com to get started. That's vid-decals.com. vid-decals.com.
Retro Arcade brings Minnesota and surrounding areas arcade games from the days gone by. All of those great games from pizza joints and arcades are available in cocktail units and custom machines. Dozens of favorites from your youth in one machine to complete your game room or man cave. Retro Arcade also sells and services your favorite pinball machines. Find them at facebook.com/80arcade. That's facebook.com/80arcade. Retro Arcade. Your youth is just one click away.
Hey, what's going on? This is Tom Arnold. I like fat women and cocaine. And you're listening to Izzy Presley here on another fucking podcast. And I know Izzy from Cocaine Anonymous meetings. I've actually seen him at the meetings with Ace Von Johnson from, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but Ace has got a bad coke problem. And his sponsor is Josh Todd from, and again, I shouldn't say this out loud, but Josh is his sponsor for Buck Cherry. He's addicted to upskirt porn. And they're both being sponsored by the Eagles. The whole band, the Eagles. Anyways, another fucking podcast right here with Izzy Presley, and call your sponsor. Fucking A.
All right. Second half of the show brought to you by John Palumbo Design. We love us some John Palumbo Design. And need something designed? Do you have a band? Do you have one of those, what are those gimmicks called? Oh yeah, a business, and you need a logo or a website. Hit up John Palumbo Design. And also A&P Productions Laser Engraving. They're the best of the best, man. They can even laser engrave a fucking hot dog bun. That's how good they are. Kip Winger on the phone. Gonna get into this Get Jack here in just 1 second, but I do have to ask about Playgirl and how did that come about?
Man, you know, back then we had like a publicist from Atlantic. They're like, "Hey, you want to do Playgirl?" They want you to do like a fashion shoot or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just did it because I did everything back then.
Yeah.
I was like, as long as I don't have to get naked, I'll do it. You know?
Right.
It was fine. It wasn't very rock and roll. So I mean, I'm looking back on it. I don't know if I might have done it differently, but I mean, there was a lot of stuff that we all thought, well, maybe I would have done that differently back then. But I was just, to be honest with you, it's all a blur because that was just blended into like 1,000 other interviews that I was doing at that time.
Okay, so they brought you in for an interview and they said, "Hey, why don't you take some pictures for us too?"
Right, and I had no idea I was going to be on the cover.
Well, hey, man, how many people that you know that can say they've been on the cover of Playgirl fucking magazine?
I don't know anybody.
Brett. Was Brett on the cover?
Was he? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't pay attention.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't really look at that. You know, that's not my
thing. All right, let's get into Get Jack. I mean, this is the reason I wanted to have you on, other than the fact that I wanted to, actually interview you. Where did the idea for Get Jack come from?
So, well, what happened was I would write a lot of classical music, and the biggest piece I'd written was like 25 minutes, and I was thinking I really want to write a bigger piece, and I want to have vocals in it. So I either want to write an opera or or a musical. And so I cast my net out into the universe to see what the first thing that came back to me was. And I interviewed a few librettists and stuff. I met this very well-known Broadway orchestrator named Chris Yonke, who, you know, he did a bunch of stuff for Les Mis and King Kong and Margaritaville, and he was very literate, amazing orchestrator. But he's a metalhead. He listens to Slayer on the treadmill. So
nice.
He was a fan, and we met through a mutual friend, and I just told him, man, I was like, if you ever run into anybody that's a great storyteller, you know, let me know, man. And I went through a couple people, and then he introduced me to this guy, Damian Gray. And I did a Skype with Damian Gray, and we hit it off immediately, and I knew I could write with him. But then he was like, well, I have this story about this Ripper idea, and I just felt like I couldn't do it because it was too Spinal Tap, you know, right off the bat. But then, you know, we kind of got into it, and he mentioned, well, I want to sound like Eric Satie, and I'm like, oh, well, that's way more interesting to me. If anybody out there knows Eric Satie, he was a composer, a French composer, like that predated Debussy and Ravel. Simple piano music. You definitely know it if you heard it.
Okay.
And then we started angling it towards being about the women, and then it kind of became this whole other story. So like it's cloaked in Jack the Ripper, but it's really about the women and the good and evil in all of us and stuff. So the story developed over 3.5 years. It took me 3.5 years to write the music, which is obviously way more time than I'd spent on anything. I think it took me a year to write my first classical piece, and so we're 3.5 years with tons of rewrites, and we're still actually rewriting it. But so we just set off to do it, and our version of it, like the quote director's cut, composer's vision of it, is this album that we just released, and the theatrical production of it will be considerably different because we've cut some songs and added some songs and stuff like that for the stage and stuff. But for the most part, it's all intact. But it's I'm very proud of the work because it's a 2-hour work of 8 vocalists, fully orchestrated. I cut the orchestra in Prague. I got some great rock musicians on it, Sandy Gennaro on drums, and John Roth played all the guitars, and Tracy Silverman on violin, and Reb played a solo, and a bunch of horn players from Nashville doing some big band stuff, and it was really a hell of a project to sink my teeth into, to say the least.
So your vision for the actual production, we're not going to go down the Xanadu route as much as I love Xanadu and put it on roller skates, are we?
No, not at all.
Carol,
this is a dark kind of black humor, but kick your ass kind of thing. I refer to it as kind of like the unmusical, because it's, a lot of musicals I'm not up on musicals so much because I don't like a lot of the music that I hear. It's a little too happy for me, but and they don't totally know how to rock. So this one is, and some of them, like the Green Day one, they're like jukebox musicals. They're cool, they're great.
Yeah.
But it's like hit songs from, like Rock of Ages. It's a lot of hit songs. It totally rocks. We saw it the other night, and it's great. But this is a totally original work, and everything about it from beginning to end is what Damien and I created.
Bebop wants to know, she's checking in the Spreaker chat room, why did Kip decide to release Get Jack now?
Because it's the concept album is Damien and my vision, and we're getting ready to do another workshop. We're thinking about doing a live concert, actually. So
nice.
For anybody that has been in the Broadway world, it means it's a really heavy lift, man. It takes a lot of time. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people involved, and so we released this because Damien and I finished this in the way that we wanted to finish it, And also, there was a lot of music on this that won't end up in the show, and I've spent a lot of time on it, and I feel like it's some of my best music. So I wanted to make sure that it was out there and people could, hear it.
She also says Hearts of Fire was awful, but her sister loved it.
I never saw it.
Oh, really?
I never saw the.
Yeah,
I never saw it.
I can't say that I have either. Is there any idea about like maybe doing a movie for this?
You know what? We've got a couple emails from people that seemed interested in the plot, but nothing's concrete as of now.
Okay. Well, I mean, it would be an interesting take on it. It's like, it's always exciting to see how it transforms from stage, to screen.
It would be very cool. I mean, the way Johnny Depp and them did Sweeney Todd, I mean, it would be amazing like that. So I'm all for it.
Oh, let's see. Carol wants to know, what was the hardest song to write on the Get Jack CD?
The hardest song to write on the CD, well, there's a piece on there called Hell's Kitchen that was really intense. And I've said this in a couple interviews. The one thing that was really interesting about this work was that, for me, I wrote all the music and the melodies to existing lyrics.
Oh, wow.
I've never done that before. That's kind of how Elton John did all the stuff with Bernie Taupin. Bernie would give him a lyric and he would write the tune. I'd never done that because largely in rock you write a rock riff and then you write a melody and then you write some words to it or whatever. But this was all like I had the book in front of me and I had to write and create the whole thing from the words on the page. So it was really cool. But Hell's Kitchen is definitely the hardest one to write. It was very inspiring, I have to say. A lot of the stuff came pretty fast, but there was so much of it, and I detailed the orchestration to such a degree that it took 3.5.
Oh, you still there?
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, it sounded like you cut out for a second there. Is there a time frame on when you think there might be a stage production of it?
No, there's no time frame as of now. It's all just an ongoing process.
Okay. I guess I didn't realize this either. I was looking at the Facebook page. You guys did like a GoFundMe type thing for this, right?
We did originally, and that helped pay for the orchestra recording.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a huge fundraising thing, especially to get to the next stages, But now we've got a really good director named Kelly Devine who did. She choreographed Rock of Ages and Come From Away, and she's very talented. She's kind of making her directorial debut on this, and we have a really fantastic producer. So it's kind of in their hands now, and I kind of, take a back seat to it. Like, when they want me to rewrite something, I'll like hit the music and work with the MD and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of going to be my role. I mean, composer of whatever changes happen.
Scotty wants to know about the Rock of Ages thing. Was it planned when you got up with them?
One of the PJ Griffith is in Get Jack, and he's in Rock of Ages. And Kelly invited me to come see the show, but PJ was like, "Hey man, you want to sing a song?" And I was like, "Sure." And then
Why not?
Kelly organized it, and we rehearsed it a little bit, the day before we went up. And the band killed it. I have to say, the band was amazing.
What song did you do?
Can't Get Enough.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and that's not a song that's usually in the show, correct? I think
none of my songs are in the show, man. They mentioned me in the show, but none of my songs are in there.
Did you like the movie version of it?
I don't remember it, man. I don't remember. I remember everybody was slamming it, but I'm a Tom Cruise. I dig Tom Cruise's movies, man. So I think he did a good job, man. But I don't remember the storyline at all, and I don't remember it being anything like the play.
No, not at all.
This is the first time I'd seen the Broadway show.
Yeah, would you do a Kickstarter for a Winger record?
I haven't needed to do that, but certainly it's not, beyond me to do it.
Right.
But I have a very good relationship with my record company, and we still are lucky enough to sell enough records to where we don't need to do that.
And I was actually surprised at this. The Get Jack CD, debuted at number 7 on Billboard in the cast albums?
It did. So that was pretty fantastic to be, not up in production, still have it enter the top 10. So we were really psyched about that.
Oh, in this day and age, though, how many records did you sell to get to number 7?
1 million records.
Is that frustrating for you? The way the music industry is now?
Well, the thing is that, if you can't beat them, join them, man. I'm not the complainer guy about how the business has gone. It is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
And when you just complain about the way things go down, you just end up looking like a dinosaur. My whole thing is adapt and overcome. It's and keep moving in the direction of the way you want to go. You just look at the tools you have to work with, and you figure out how to use them. There's no going backwards. I mean, records aren't going to all of a sudden start selling again.
Right. One thing I've always wanted to ask you: Did you ever get pissed about the way that Winger was perceived as being as such a amazingly talented band that a lot of I can't play fucking Reb Beach riffs, and you guys always got they're just those fucking posers, whatever.
Well, I think we got misread, and we were on the wrong side of Beavis and Butthead and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, what are you going to do? At the time it was a bummer, and there were many times when I did get pissed about it. But what I did was adapt and overcome. I mean, I used the downtime. It wasn't just us, man. I mean, I got put in the show at the scene of the crime, but I mean, all the '80s bands were getting killed. So I just used the time to take the time, the free time, to start really studying orchestration and composition and stuff. So that was about when I was about 34 or 35, and that's when I really dug into my composition skills and started studying with some real people. Mm-hmm. And I actually had the time. Had that not happened, I might not have ever had the real time it took me to learn how to wield an orchestra in the way that I can now.
Right.
And it was basically because I had so much downtime. I mean, I had the desire and the will to do it, but I mean, the previous year I would have never been able to do it. I was on tour nonstop.
Right. So you actually kind of had a backup plan when the whole bottom fell out of all of it.
Well, somewhat. I mean, look, I wasn't like, hey, I'm going to go sell 1 million records writing a symphonic work.
Right.
It was always. I've focused my whole life on my artistic vision and my artistic dream, and not the commerce of what I'm getting done and how much money I'm going to make from it. Maybe somebody else did, but I mean, I always took the path of. Look, I always wanted to just be a better musician. Like what else can I achieve here on a musical level and an artistic level? That was always my focus, and it always will be my focus. I mean, everybody needs money, and that's cool, and I do well and all that stuff. But my big focus is be a better musician and create. That's why I got my solo albums, which are totally different than my classical music, and then there's Winger. And now the musical, and I'm very diverse in the things I'm interested in, and I want to nail them on their turf, in their language, with a completely literate vocabulary, and be taken seriously. And that, when I got nominated for a Grammy for classical composition, that was really a big endorsement for being able to speak in their language, because they don't let you. Nobody gets in that club unless you can do it.
Carol wants to know, how is the Nashville Symphony composition coming along?
Very well, thank you. I'm. It's it's ecstasy and terrifying all at once. I mean, it's an amazing opportunity. I'm very, very lucky, and you know, I'm actually within the last 2 weeks, I'm very excited about it. Up until 2 weeks ago, I was kind of terrified. But
so they approached you about writing a song for them?
Well, about a symphonic work, yeah.
Okay, yeah. But is it just like one piece, or is like it a full longer thing?
25 minutes. You know, symphony number 1.
Damn. I'm just having a hard time trying to write country songs. God bless you.
When it premieres, it's great if you could come. You know, everybody keep an eye on my website, and you'll see when it's premiering, because the Nashville Symphony kicks ass like no other orchestra, man. I mean, they're really, really good, and they kind of have it up on a lot of other orchestras, because they also, a lot of the musicians in the orchestras do pop sessions in Nashville with all the rock people and all the country people, and so they can play the rhythms correctly, and they totally know how to rock. And the conductor, Giancarlo Guerrero, is absolutely a god on the podium. He's amazing.
Was it hard for you in the 90s, though? I mean, trying to do what you wanted to do with having that quote unquote 80s rock stigma behind you, and the name Winger?
Oh yeah.
Do you have it? Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I had some very lean times, man. You know, it was the name had a toxic environment around it for a long time. You know, now it's totally gone now.
Yeah.
But there was definitely some lean years.
Because I remember Eddie Trunk was talking to Vito Bratta, and Vito said like it was in the mid '90s, and they brought this demo to a record label, and they just loved it. And they said, "Well, who are you guys?" And he said, like, "Well, I'm Vito Bratta from White Lion," and they said, "Goodbye," you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that happened to me on my first solo album. I mean, it was
really.
Oh yeah. I mean, my solo album didn't sound anything like it. They're like, "This is amazing. Who is this?" It's Kip Winger. Pass.
Yeah. Was there ever a point where you just wanted to reinvent yourself and not have a whole different name? Because I know Ron Keel did the whole Ronnie Lee thing, you know, and he got away with it for a while until he had his Eddie Wilson moment and came out at the end. But was there ever any thought about doing that to try to start over as a different persona?
You mean change my name?
Yeah.
No, man. I mean, a lot of people were saying that. I mean, Gene Simmons called me up and said, "Man, you got to change your name." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, Winger. It's really toxic." He's like, "Don't change Winger. Change Kip. It's not a rock and roll name." That's what he said to me, man. That's a true story. He's
that's
like, "You got to
hilarious.
change Kip. It's not a rock and roll name." He's like, "You should change it, Mick or something like that." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's awesome. Give me a Mick Winger and a side of fries and chocolate shake." Thanks, dude. That rules.
Oh, but the thing is, like, Kip is like part of your real legal name. You were born with, correct?
Yeah, man. Like, I never entertained changing my name, man. It was like, the name was toxic for a while, but it's passed. So,
right.
I mean, I will say on my first solo record, I didn't put my name on the cover. I put it only on the spine, but.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some lean years, but I mean, that's all kind of come around full circle. Now people are like, "How'd you get your T-shirt on Beavis and Butt, or your name on the T-shirt?" Wondering how I did that, kind of, So.
Well, I still think that was probably still good marketing for the band because the name was up there at all times.
Well, you know what? It wasn't. We got killed. We lost all of our deals, and we couldn't
really
gig with an A. Oh yeah. Totally. That just wiped us out, man.
Oh, my God. Oh, don't I feel like the fucking asshole. Do you have... Go ahead.
It is what it is. I mean, dude, it happened to the Bee Gees. I mean, the Bee Gees at one point, nobody dug the Bee Gees. They thought they moved on, and they're the fucking Bee Gees. I mean,
right.
They're greatest songwriters of all time. I mean, that's the way music goes, young... a new generation picks their artists, and the older generation, they want to get rid of them. it happened to Elvis with the Beatles. I mean, it happens with everybody. So I don't feel like I'm actually any different than the revolving cycles of the music business or pop culture.
Right. Well, I got one more question for you, and then we'll let you go. Somebody wants to know: is there there are plans for another solo Kip Winger CD?
Yes, there is. I have a lot of music for that, and the problem is I don't have a lot of time to make it, but I have a lot of material for a solo record, and that will come at some point in the future. And what I try to do is, once I'm changing studio setup, so once I get it all happening, I'll be able to work a little bit on that, work a little on the Winger, work a little bit on the classical, and eventually it'll all get done.
Coolness. People want to buy the Get Jack. They can find it at all your local, all the mainstreams, I suppose, like iTunes and all that stuff.
GetJack.com has all the stuff on there. So,
all right.
It'd be great, and also if I don't mind saying, like, anybody that goes there, please sign up to our mailing list, so you can keep up on what's up.
Absolutely. And people want to find you online?
KipWinger.com.
Easy peasy. Kip, you got a minute to hold on while I say goodbye? We'll say goodbye off the air.
Yeah, man.
All right, hold tight. Ladies and gentlemen, Kip Winger, what a great fun show. Be back on Thursday with the Izzy Presley Show. Make sure you guys follow on Spreaker for all the new listeners, and subscribe on iTunes if you don't want to listen to it live. Go back, listen to Chris Wise from last night. Another fun interview. Izzy Presley Show on Thursday night. Once again, that PayPal is izzypresley@yahoo.com if you want to donate to the show. It is not free to do, but I do it anyways because I love you guys. Working on guests for next week, and I will be in Toronto on the 23rd hosting the Killer Dwarf Celebrity Golf Tournament. Rather excited about that. So if you're in the Toronto area, let's get drunk, play some golf, and take off, This has been another fucking podcast. Once again, thank you again to Kip Winger. A lot of fun talking to him. And, oh my God, Lamb of God just got added to the Mega Cruise. Rather excited about that. And Winger will be on the Monsters of Rock Cruise in 2020 for the 10th anniversary cruise. Rather excited. And Kip, we always got a spot for you on the Cruiser Jam, which is a Kiss theme this year. Anyways, we'll see you on Thursday night. Don't forget, what I lack in talent, I do make up for in cock. My name is Izzy Presley, and I say good day.